Hey guys, welcome back. So I was out to dinner the other day with my wife, and as we sat down at the table, I couldn't help but notice the amount of swirls that were in this table that we were sitting at. I know things that you notice as a detailer, right? Trust me, there's things far worse. But that got me thinking, could we use our automotive polisher pads and compounds to bring something like that back to new? Well, I took a day and I decided to find out. So we're gonna polish various surfaces around my house and see if we can get things looking better. So we have a painted washer and dryer set, which has single stage paint, a veneer wood table, a cultured marble countertop, and finally a glass cooktop to see if even spending a few minutes will bring them back to new. I'm not going to do quartz or granite because the process for polishing those out is completely different than what we're going to do here. But also I will leave a link in the video description as to any of the products that I'm using here. So again, you've heard me talk about and say before, this channel is purposely not sponsored, and 100% of the money that it makes goes right back into buying more products to test. So I'm going to be using my SPTA cordless 18-volt polisher along with a Eurofiber microfiber pad and M105, Meguiar's M105 compound, and we will finish it off with Sonax Perfect Finish and a Rupes yellow pad. And so here we go. So jumping right into it, you saw kind of in the preview, this is single stage paint. These are 12-year-old washer and dryers. I know, pretty impressive that they even last that long, but you can see it's very scratched up, swirled up, has a lot of deep scratches in it, laundry baskets on top. There's bleach bottles, whatever, everything's on top. So it has a lot of use, a lot of wear on it. It is single stage paint. So we're gonna polish it with M105 and a Eurofiber pad. I have multiple pads because I didn't bring my air source, my air compressor, to blow the pad out. And you can see it's turning the pad red, which is indicative of it not having a clear coat. Checking it right here. Let's see how it looks. Still got a lot of swirls in it. A little bit better though. We're gonna step it down to something a little more aggressive, which is Shine Supply Chop Top. It is a diminishing abrasive, so the more you polish, the finer it works out. You can almost finish on some paints with it. Looking at where we're at here, you can see that just the depth, it's much darker looking now, even though it does have some imperfections still in it. But you're not going to see it under a scan grip light. You're going to see it under fluorescent light or natural light when the windows are open or what have you. So overall, much improved, but we can finish polish, get it a little bit better. So let's do that now. So we're going to use Sonax Perfect Finish and a Rupes yellow pad, which is their fine or their finishing pad. So after finishing, this is the light that you will normally see it in. Look at how much darker that is compared to the side that hasn't been touched. A lot of swirls as expected. Still some here. I think that if we probably spent more time on the cutting step or maybe even stepped it down to a wool pad, that may be what it takes. But overall, just looking at it in natural light, what a difference. And so that's the final product when I did both of them. So now we're going to jump into wood veneer. This is a couch table that sits right behind the couch. You can see that it has a few swirls in it. It's just kind of almost like a matte finish now. And this piece is probably about 15 years old, and it's never been touched. So we're going to take the precaution. We're going to take the more cautious approach here, and we're only going to try it with a finishing pad because it is a veneer. It's very thin, so you want to be very, very careful. you can see just one quick pass, there's still some swirls, of course, but the gloss has come back. And remember, you're going to see this under natural light. You're not going to see this under a scan grip. So I have a scan grip with me to show you what improvements are being made. You can see after a couple passes with a finishing pad, they're still there, but look at the gloss difference. Going back and forth, look at that. And you can see that there is some clarity there. So we'll go ahead and finish the rest of that, polish it out. And what a difference. Again, not perfect. And I don't think we want to on something like this, because then you risk actually getting into the lacquer that's in it. Next up, we have cultured marble, which is basically a resin. So you're going to treat it like it's plastic. It's very soft. Instead of using the SPTA, I have my old Harbor Freight rotary polisher. I've had this since 1997. We're going to use a microfiber pad and Shine Supply chop top very quickly and see how it ends up looking. And as a disclaimer, don't do what I'm doing. Don't leave cords hanging around when you have a spinning rotary tool. I didn't have the proper length extension cord with me, and I really should have, to keep all of these cords away, because bad things could potentially happen here in this situation. So don't do what I'm doing. Now under the scan grip, zoom in. You can see that's literally 30 seconds worth of work. Again, still has some swirls and things, but under the natural light that you would see like in this room here, it's not terrible. We'll hit it one more time. Just a quick up and down, back and forth. And let's see what it looks like. Gradual improvements. I think that if you spend a lot more time on this, you probably could make it perfect. But again, I don't think that you want to do that, because again, it's going to get used, it's going to get scratched up. And finally, the most difficult, here is a standard glass cooktop range, and it is quite old. I think it's over 10 years old. You can see that it gets a lot of use. The glass has lots of deep scratches, actually to the point where there's actually a little bit of glass that's chipped. Those obviously aren't going to go away. You can't replace glass that's missing or very, very deep scratches. So we're, at best, probably what we're going to do is get out the not so severe. So we're going to use Ceraglass, which cerium oxide, along with our rotary polisher and a CarPro rayon pad and my old 1997 Chicago Electric Harbor Freight buffer. I think I paid $20 for that back then. So the key to this, if you've seen any of my windshield polishing videos, the key to this is to evenly distribute the heat. You're going to create a lot of heat when you do this, but you don't want to get a hot spot. And I know that's kind of odd, because you are cooking, when you turn one burner on, you're going to have a hot spot, but I'm sure that this glass is much more temperamental compared to a thin windshield that's laminated or what have you. So you don't have to worry about discoloration or heat spotting on the windshield. You're basically just going back and forth. The key with this is you want to keep it slightly wet. So you see I have distilled water there, and every now and then I stop and I mist it. Try to keep almost like a slurry, but you don't want too much, because then it basically floats across the top and it's not actually doing any cutting work. But you can see the first 15 minutes here still has those fine swirls, but it is much improved. And so typically on a windshield, when I'm polishing a windscreen, I will take about 30 minutes on each half. So it takes about an hour. This, of course, is not as large as a standard windscreen. It's about half of that, but I'm doing the front half and then the back half. So I polished this for about 20 minutes total. You can see that my timer's running there. So we'll clean it up, wipe it down with isopropyl alcohol 35% very quickly, and then I will show you the back, which was not polished, and the front, which was. Of course, the front gets a lot more use. But you can see that those deep scratches are still there. The finer stuff came out, but the swirls are much worse in the back. So I think this is another one where the more time you spend, the better it will get. But overall, in the natural light that you're going to see it in, it's much improved. So this thing's sort of at the end of its lifespan anyway, so couldn't really damage anything. So there you go, guys. 4 things you can polish. I was thinking about doing like a deep freeze or something like that, but there's lots of surfaces around your house. It looks like stuff like this, if you spend a lot more time on it, you could definitely bring it back to new or nearly new. Maybe not some of the stuff that's as beat up as what we have, but a lot of our furniture is older, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so let me know in the comments if there's anything around your house that you would polish that isn't automotive related. Would you polish a toolbox or, you know, a fancy computer case, something like that? Let me know. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you soon.